Hey guys, a couple weeks ago after the Element was totaled, I picked up a new to me car. It's turbo. It's all-wheel drive. It's not a Subaru. I'm Billy, and this is Built.
Even when you feel low, you can still go. Even when you feel slow, you can still go. Even when there's no hope, you can still go. I never answer to no, man, I still go. Go, 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 go.
Hey guys, welcome to the channel. Now, if you're new here, then you probably don't know this yet, but if you've been following along, then you know that over the course of 2025, I managed to total both of my daily drivers. Now, in early 2025 in February, I totaled my 2000 Honda Civic, which was a primary daily driver. I drove it every day to and from work, and that was its primary function. That forced me to start driving what was usually my utility car as my Honda Element as a daily driver. Now, that wasn't necessarily an issue, but in December, I did get into an accident, and that car is also now totaled. So of course, with both cars now totaled and my need to not drive a two-seater convertible sports car to work every day, that means it's time for a new daily driver. Now, I did mention that it is all-wheel drive and it is turbo, and it's definitely not a Subaru. So I'd like to introduce everybody to my 2008 Acura RDX. Hey guys, we're back here in the interior, and since this car is new to me, I've been running kind of a makeshift ad hoc setup here to get Bluetooth and GPS and all the things. Now, this car came equipped with navigation, but that was also in 2008, so my house didn't exist in 2008. Most of my street didn't exist in 2008, so the maps that I get on this car are basically not enough for me to just use what's loaded in the car. Obviously, it's 15 plus years old and it's completely outdated. I don't know when they stopped updating this particular nav package, but it's definitely out of date. And I don't really want to go through the effort of updating it. Plus, I do like things like Android Auto and Bluetooth and all of that, like very early stuff exists in this car, but it's just not super useful. So right now I have a very ad hoc setup. One of the things I do want to do is I want to go in and replace my cigarette lighter with USB. I've done it in the Miata. I added it to the Element. So if you want to check out that video to figure out how to wire it up from scratch, I can link that down below. But I'm going to go ahead and jump in because basically the way I have it set up here is just not super sustainable. So as you can see down here, this is the makeshift setup. I have tons of wires. So I have an aux cable from the stereo to the receiver. There's just a little Bluetooth receiver right here. This runs off of USB, which is plugged in here and charging. And then I have another charge cable that runs up to my phone. So the first thing I'm going to want to do is I'm going to actually get rid of all of these cables here. You can see the aux cable. You can see the socket and all of that. So let's move that out of the way. So I'm gonna be completely honest, and I did an absolutely terrible job recording this process, but like I said, this was supposed to be kind of like a quick overview anyway. So if you want to go check out the old Element video where I install a USB hub into the center console, it's kind of the same process. Basically, the biggest thing I had to do here was remove the cigarette lighter, drill the hole a little bit wider, clean up the edges. I removed the hinge to install the USB a little bit better, which was relatively easy. I kind of just pulled the pin and made sure the spring was, all the stuff was out of the way, and then I just had to make sure I put it back together properly. So like I said, this is just kind of an overview of how I got it done. I'm going to speed everything up, but go ahead and check out that other element video if you really want to install something like this on your own. And like I said, there was just a few little things here and there. Ultimately, this was actually one of the easier center consoles for me to get into. All the pieces kind of just snapped off. So go ahead and watch the rest of the video, and I'll see you at the end. Alright guys, the next step is up here. So we're gonna dig into this like upper center console. I have this dangly bit here. I think it's probably some sort of GPS receiver antenna or something like that. I don't really know what it is. I didn't look into it yet. It might be aftermarket. It might not even be normal for this car. But I do want to add a dash cam, so I might add USB power up here. But one of the things I want to do is go ahead and dig into this console. So once again, another instance of how bad of a job I did recording this. I at some point put my camera into 2x slow mode, which means no audio, and everything was really slow, so I could speed it up so it's real time, but at the same time, I think the rest of the video is going to be voiceover. So as you can see here, I'm installing a dash cam, which is kind of definitely a reaction from this second accident, and you can see that the routing is all haphazard. So I'm going to go ahead and convert this haphazardly routed power supply to a USB that's powered off the upper center console here. So the first step, of course, is getting everything disassembled so that I can figure out what I'm working with, and then I'll have to go ahead and find power. So the unit that I'm using is actually a USB-C converter from 12 volts. It's effectively what the other power supply with the cigarette lighter does, where it pulls 12 volt in from the cigarette lighter and drops it down to 5 volts for the USB. This just happens to do it all in one, so it's just a little USB-C out with a 12 volt in and ground connection. I'm going to use chassis for ground, and I found 12 volts on the brown wire of this 3-pin connector that goes into the back of the rear view mirror, which I'm actually pretty certain is aftermarket, so I'm not super worried about pulling too much power. It should be not even a whole amp, so it should be very little power, and it should power up just fine. With everything all wired up and tested, all we got to do now is get everything all put back together, and this step of the dash cam install can be done. So this dash cam actually also supports a rear facing camera, and the biggest thing I have to do with that is run the cable from the dash cam in the front all the way to the back where I want to mount the rear facing cam. Once I got the wire routed all the way back to the tailgate, I was able to utilize the stock wiring location where it runs through a rubber loom, which should protect this wire and also not expose anything else to the elements. Alright guys, I think that's going to go ahead and wrap up this video. I have been using the car this way for the last week or two. I've had it for a couple weeks now, and basically I have a few more plans for the car. There are some minor mechanical details. It does have some weird issues that kind of came up once it was really cold, like single digits or less here in Georgia. Some minor oil leaks, some weird behavior with the electronics. One of the door locks is kind of weird. So there is some stuff wrong with this car. I didn't pay a whole lot of money for it. It's not perfect, but it is a good daily driver. It runs and drives great. It's comfortable. And once I have a few of these modern amenities, it will be great. So I do have an audio unit on the way, so stay tuned for that video. That's going to come in. That'll basically convert my entire system to a more modern system. The only thing I won't have is a touchscreen. I'll put a link to the unit that I'm using below if you guys want to check it out. Their YouTube channel does have some installs and stuff like that, so maybe I'll call it out. But other than that, don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and I'll catch you in the next video.